मुझे ही जाना है सर। Good evening, Shibu sir. Am I audible?
Yes, good evening, sir. Yes, we are audible.
Please share your PPT once. Please check.
Visible, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's all good.
Okay, thank you.
So, good evening to all the participants. I welcome you all on behalf of Aryavarta Saudaya School Complex. So, our today's topic is effective communication skills, and we have with us Shibu sir. So, I request Shibu sir to kindly start the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
In this evening, I can see good number of teachers to the session, and still few teachers are joining. I appreciate your effort. It's the eighth session that we are going to have it today. Uh, so actively and with the enthusiasm, Aryavarta Sahodaya has come back as same as last year to instill and motivate all school and school leaders. So thank you very much for giving me a chance in this session too. So today's topic, that is effective communication skill for classroom teaching, or in short we can say effective communication skill. One among the best skills that one should have is, as of me, is of effective communication. For example, when we go to the classroom, we have a content, we have good content, we have good PPT, we have good knowledge, we have good language. But how far I have a effective communication? Communication is not only kind of teaching or just talking. Maybe in the classroom we may have ICT, we may have different technologies. So, but how far I can attractively I can take up the students? How far? See, for example, I like to say a few examples for it. You see any program, between the programs we will see advertisements. There are a lot many advertisements in between the news, movies, or serials, reality shows. In between everywhere, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes break. They put up, advertisements. Advertisement, it is of not for a long duration, right? For example, a movie runs for 2 to 2.5 hours, and they try to show a message of that movie. But this particular advertisement, it goes maybe for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds maximum. It don't go. Many of the advertisements are of 15 to 20 seconds. Within 15 to 20 seconds, they convey a beautiful and touching message to the audience, what they want to convey. And they convince us. That's very important. They convince us the product which they are showing, that is the best product. They try to convince this. This is the best product which is useful for our lives. See the way of communication they have. And you suppose we see there are lot many movies, we see lot many TV serials or reality shows we watch. Out of that, there are a couple of maybe movies, very attractive way they put it. They communicate to the audience. They keep on watching. There are movies or documentaries. Even though we watch once, twice, thrice, couple of times, we won't get boring. Still, we feel to watch on. So that's called, communication. They communicate. Not only communication, such a way they communicate, and it shows very effective, and it's feel, it's good for everyone. So that's the way they look into. Suppose we see it's a skill. Now we will see what are skills one has. Then we will come to the effective communication skill. It is not that what you do for children, you have taught in the class, but it counts what do they, how do they live a successful life out of campus or out of classroom, or a successful human being. How can I be a human being? So that's all about a skill. We teach maybe different classes. We teach like JE, NEET, NDA, or different examination oriented classes, or board examination oriented classes, textbooks, a lot of things we teach. But ultimately, the skill means what they are learning, or more than that, how do they become a successful human beings. It is not that how far they become a successful professional. Skills are not about that. Life is not about how far a person is becoming successful professional. No. Life is all about how far I am a successful human being. For example, a person who is earning 1 crore rupees per month may not be successful compared to a person who earns monthly 10,000 rupees. The success, it has got, is a subjective, of course, not objective. Subject is, success is subjective. It's individual choice. If I said, suppose a person who is uh, earning too much, or became UPSC, that person may not be happy. The person may be a clerk in the DM office, may be highly happier than the person who became a DM. So it's quite subjective. So that we have to see how far person is successful. Now, life skills are abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enables individual to deal effectively with the demands and the challenges of everyday life. Suppose if I ask how many of us have challenges in their lives, I'm sure everybody would raise a hand that I have challenges. I have, a lot of problems. I have this problem, that problem, a lot of things. We share each other that I'm facing a lot of problems, stumbling blocks, different things. Everybody, it's a quite common. A life without challenge, that is become a boring life. So a life skill, when we take it as in a triangle, there are three types of life skills that we see. One is social skill, emotional skill, and a thinking skill. These are the main life skills that we see. And out of that, in the life skill, effective communication comes under social skill. How do I communicate with someone else? How do I communicate with someone else? For example, when I'm socially, a communication can hurt us. A communication can build up relation. A communication can break the relation. Suppose where I have to communicate, where only I have to communicate. For example, two people are having communication. In between, I'm putting my thought. Then there can be a conflict. Or two friends are there. There are two friends. They are in a good relation. But in between that, I go and communicate different way to one of the friends, and that the good bonding of that both friends can break it. So words, communication, these are very important thing, and it is and it is social skill. As I have said, a communication can build up a relation, and a communication can break the relation. So see here, in the interpersonal relationship, as we are together, how we make the things, and empathy. And the next we can see empathy means I am ready to share with you, and I am ready to understand with you, and it happens through effective communication. So therefore it is said, effective expressing positively, both verbally and non-verbally, expressing opinions and desires, and also need and fears, being able to ask for advice and help in the time of need. As I said, for example, somebody is you just imagine I'm teaching in the class. I'm teaching in the class. Two children were talking themselves. I looked at you, and one of the children smiled at you. Okay, just smile. What will be your feeling? What do I analyze? Normally, I conclude in this way. A normal evaluation, I'm saying, we conclude in this way. Okay, those both children are out of topic. They may be talking about me, and they're smiling at me. And our reaction may be something different. So there's no communication with me, but there's a communication through a smile. So we understand, we interpret in different way, and as per our thought and these things, we keep interpreting the things. So here, it is not necessary a person has to talk. For example, there are two ants going, one is both are going to opposite direction, and they touch each other. When they touch each other, they communicate something. They may communicate, some food items are kept there, or some kind of communication takes place. For example, nowadays you see the sky becomes dark with cloudy. So it is communicating to us. Okay, sky is not shouting even before thundering and lightning. We understand whether it is going to rain or not. Sometimes we look at the sky, and if there is a star in the evening or night, then we tell them no, there won't be rain because sky is very clear. So the communication, the message that conveys, that depends on the situations, and we understand. When we look into, now we are going to the depth of effective communication. When looking to the effective communication, the meaning, effective communication is a two-way process. Sending the right message and to the right person. It's important to know the psychology of the people you are interacting with. For communication to be effective, it is necessary to know the circumstances of the country, entity, counter entity. Effective communication includes all the aspects of visual, auditory, and aesthetic language to appeal the listener. In a short way, how can we define it? Effective communication is a communication which produces intended or desired result. For example, I am teaching in the class. I'm putting my entire effort. I'm putting entire effort in the classroom. I'm teaching 35 to 40 minutes, and when the result is zero. Means the communication that I have given was not success. But on the contrary, suppose the result is good, then everyone would appreciate, sorry, you have taught well. So it depends on the result. I am conveying something and you are not able to understand, the reaction is taking place, not taking place, then the communication is having some kind of problems. And at the same time, I am teaching in the class. After teaching 25 to 30 minutes, I am asking some questions to children, and children are not able to tell me the answer, and they're not able to understand what I have taught. That means I have not communicated effectively. The classes that I have taken 20-25 minutes are not sufficient. So that evaluates. So see here, an effective communication from one side to another. In English language, we can say there are, a direct speech, indirect speech. So, kind of, communication takes place from one side to another, and the message has to be clear. Now, for effective communication, is it necessary to have language? Can you put in the chat box? Is it necessary to have language for effective communication? Is it necessary to know, in the sense, grammatical knowledge, grammatical construction of the sentence is compulsory or not? Please put yes or no, teachers. Can you put yes or no? If anybody thinks that for effective communication, we have to have proper grammatical construction of the sentence. Yes or no? I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any remarks. Some are raising their hand. I take it for granted. It is not necessary to have grammatical construction of the sentence. Communication is not bounded to language. Thank you, sir. No. Students are also saying no. So it is absolutely right. It is not necessary to have have proper language in order to have communicate. For example, a person, I want a glass of water. Suppose I say water, water, I understand, I need water. Okay. One thing we have to be conscious. In case I have to have a good classroom teaching learning process, in classroom teaching learning process, better to have a proper language. It may be Hindi, it may be Maithili, it may be Bhojpuri, it may be English, the language which you are teaching, in which language you are teaching. For example, you are teaching in Hindi, then should have a good command over the language. That makes the children to understand better in classroom teaching. Otherwise, the meaning may change. For example, Ramu went to market, Ramu is going to market, both are different. Ramu bought 5 pence. Ramu will buy 5 pence. Meaning differs. So the language which you teach, that we have to be conscious which language I mean the meaning should not change. Otherwise, in a common life, if suppose we keep a classroom teaching aside, as a common life, it is not necessary to have a perfect grammatical construction of the sentence in order to have effective communication. So communication, something like it is from one to many communication from one to many, or it can vice versa also from many to one person, but it will not have proper communication. For example, just imagine in a class one teacher is teaching and the message is passing to all students. At the same time, all children are shouting in the class and none of us are able to understand. So if effective, it will not be effective communication. Communication is taking place, but it will not be effective. So not effective communication, one to many is the best option rather than many to one. Effective communication is defined as the ability to convey information to another effectively and efficiently. Business managers with good verbal, non-verbal, and written communication skills help facilitate the sharing of information between people within a company for its commercial benefit. It's a kind of, in a business way, I just have put it. What's a good effective communication? It may be in a business gathering, or maybe a principal is taking a meeting with the teachers, or teachers are taking gathering of students. Then we can apply it. See here, the process of communication is what allow us to interact with other people. Without it, we would be unable to share knowledge or experience with anything outside ourselves. Common forms of communication includes speaking, writing, gesture, touch, and broadcasting. For example, let's take the last sentence. Common forms of communication includes speaking. Speaking is a common thing. I am trying to communicate. I don't know how far it's effective. I am sure also, I am also a little tired. You are also tired because after taking entire day class, I don't know how far even the mind is willing. I don't know how far body is willing to sit and attend 1 hour training. So because morning now around 8 hours continuous classes, then again sitting and taking the class session or listening the class is little difficult task. One thing, the communication that I'm speaking, I'm trying to speak to you. One, writing, maybe a letter for in the classroom, writing in the board or something, and gestures. Suppose if I am standing and I'm calling somebody, I'm not making noise. I am telling you, just come. Just you, I'm pointing it out, and just you come. So, and next, touch and broadcasting. For example, touch has got a lot of affection. So, example, somebody is feeling kind of emotion, or suppose somebody is needs appreciation, just a touch, a patting on the back, on the shoulder. Okay, very, very good, you have done, well done, you have done. Touch has got a lot of power in it. Okay, so and so such things are very common communication, and it has got its own importance in everybody's life. Good communication always Good communication always helps employees to become, or teachers or students, more involved in their work and help them to develop a better understanding of their job. Clear, precise, and timely communication of information also prevents the occurrence of organizational problems. So, suppose we know that teachers or principal, they take weekly meeting, or in the classroom, teachers take daily evaluation. Principal may take once in a week, or once in 2 weeks, or something like that. You have meetings. So when we have communicate each other, when we sit together, or maybe we discuss something, or we have a problem solving method of or discussion, debate, or these things will help us to understand the problems and sort it out in a better. So effective communication, three 300. In a full sense, we can say one is message sending. And next is messages we intended to send. Next, our reaction to the meaning and interpretation. And next is our interpretation of received messages, our response to the message. These are the five things for effective communication we give. One, as I said, message that I have sent. How far the message that I have sent and message we intended to send. The message I'm thinking that I should send a message. Our reaction to the meaning and the interpretation. Our interpretation of received message and a response to the message. So effective communication, it has got also the effective communication includes not just way you use the words, but also conveys several other skills such as non-verbal communication, ability to understand your own emotions as well as of the other person with whom you are communicating, engage listening, ability to speak and assertively, etc. These are the few points for the effective communication. And of course, we have to understand the skill. There are people, those who communicate, their messages never touch anywhere. Like there's a parable in the Bible. Yes, there's a parable. Parable in the sense is a meaningful and messageful story in Bible. Uh, it is that a person went to sow in the sense a person went to put seeds in the field, in the paddy field. Yes, so the seeds has fallen down few in fertile land, few in a in a stony area, few in a plain area, few in under thorns area. So the result of sowing, it was differs. Whatever it was falling into the thorn, midst of thorn, came up but could not nourish. In the stone area, just wanted to come, but it did not come up. In the normal area, it was not at all successful. But where it was fertile, it was coming up very fast. So what I want to convey is that when we have a communication in the classroom, that also we need to understand. How do I communicate myself? The teaching learning process or the message or whatever things I am trying to share, where it is going. It is simply in the classroom it is going and nobody is listening, or I'm sending in the mind or in the heart. I would prefer whenever we teach, rather than going into the head, okay, it should go to the heart. It should go to the heart. We normally ask, have you understood? Have you understood? While we are trying to get it, whether the children IQ wise are they able to understand the message I have conveyed? We should ask, am I able to assimilate it? Am I able to assimilate it? Suppose the children are able to assimilate in the sense understanding, digest it, and it goes like a proper food digestion takes place. And is it going to the entire body? So that I have to understand it. So when I am going to teach in the class, I have to understand whether children are able to assimilate it. It is going to heart or not, rather than going to brain. An example for effective communication is when you talk in clear and simple terms. An example of effective communication is when the person whom you are talking to listen actively absorbs your point and understand it. That's what I just told in the classroom. How do I teach effectively? 5 good communication skill. Let's see what are 5 good. 1, listening. For the if suppose I want to communicate properly, for example, in the classroom, a child is asking question. What I have to do first? I have to listen the question patiently. For example, if suppose I am not able to listen the question patiently, or if I discourage the child, uh, by asking questions, they will have a hurt in the heart, and they will not have our communication skill will be poor. And straight talking. It's not that beating around the bush. Suppose I am not having proper knowledge. For example, a child has asked a question and I am not having proper knowledge. Then what I do? I keep on explaining. Instead of telling 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I answer the question. I keep on explaining. Why? Because I don't have proper knowledge. If suppose I am not having proper knowledge, what should be my answer to the child? Okay, Babu, I will tell you in the next class. Let me refer it in a better way. I know it, but I want, in order to answer you, I like to refer few points. Then I will come back to next session or next class. Else, if you know, you can say. If you do not know, don't say and waste the time. That will not be a straight talking. That will be equal to beating around the bush. Non-verbal communication. Suppose, as I have said, suppose I wanted to communicate something, even a smile, even a look. For example, when I'm entering into the classroom, the class is quite noisy. The moment I'm looking at the children understand, okay, sir is indicating us not to speak, but to be attentive. Stress management. Before I go to, speak or to listen, I should not be under stress. Therefore, I have said, even though I am telling, I do not know how many teachers are listening, because we, all of us, you and me are, after school, we are sitting. So a free mentality. Suppose I am free to listen, free to talk, and I am good enough to convey things, then it comes a good effective. And emotion control. Suppose I'm conveying something, children are asking some questions. One child asked, I explained. Second child also asked the same question, I explained. Third question, child also asked the same question, I explained. When the fourth child asked question, I asked, I shouted at the children. See, it can vary. Okay, in a certain extent, children should be attended in the class, but at the same time, even though children ask couple of times, we should have that much control our emotions to, in order to solve. And at the same time, when we share some informations or something, we should not be out of control. Basic communication tools, a wide variety of communication tools are used for external and internal communication. This tool includes mail, email, telephones, cell phone, smartphones, computers, video and web conference tools, social networking, as well as online collaboration and productivity platforms. The platforms, whatever I said now, nothing is out of our mind. Everything we know. Nowadays, as we are seeing, communication is not so actively done through email or telephone. Okay, of course, it's through mobile, smartphones, computer, or web conference. See, the conference that what we have is a web conference, and at the same time also we have, nowadays almost all everything is done through WhatsApp groups and PDF sending, mail sending, not sending mail messages. All things are done through fastest communicative devices or the platforms. And when we have effective communication, now as I have said to you, I am unable to see what we are doing. Maybe some of us may be keeping the phone aside and maybe sleeping. It is possible. I'm not, I'm not an exaggeration of prejudice, but it may be possible. Or some may be keeping aside and maybe cooking. Some may be keeping aside and washing clothes. Some may be keeping aside and preparing for tomorrow's lesson. And of course, some may be listening also. So the communication that what we have, eye contact and visible mouth. As I said, for example, my video is video is going on. Audio also is audible. So all are able to see what I am doing. How is my hand action? How is my body language and other things can question. So for effective communication, not only the person who speaks or not only the person who shares, everybody, eye contact, visibility of mouth, body language, silence, and checking for understanding, uh, smiling face, summarizing what has been said, encouraging to continue, and some questions. So there should be interaction. It's a limitation of this online platform, that is, questionnaire policy is little less. Of course, there will be a chance to ask at the end of the session, but as of now, it is not. We are not counting it. So these are the main points that what we see. As I said once again, eye contact, that's called visibility of mouth, body language, silence, checking off for understanding, smiling face, summarizing what has been said, encouraging to continue, and some questions. So in fact, when we say it should be, effective communication should take place, when should take place, and there should be interaction. There should be interaction what I am going to convey. What are things that is going on each other. So when we look into effective communication skill, now overcoming barriers of effective communication, we see also connecting with the audience, symbol words, body language, smile, eye contact, gesture tone, cultural sensitivity, checking for understanding, seeking participation, effective questions, summarizing what has been said. So first connecting audience. When I'm entering to the class, let us say take an example. I'm entering into the classroom. When I'm entering into the classroom, it is not the direct like take classes, right? First we coordinate each other. Children may have different thoughts of previous subject, or different talks may take place, but first connecting with the audience. So therefore that we may ask few questions, we may ask some kind of casual interaction that we do among ourselves in order to connect the audience or connect the children. And then simple words. It's not the complex and complicated words we use. Suppose for the effective communication, for example, I am using a word, I don't know how many people understand. Most probably all will be understanding. Still, philanthropic. For example, I use the word philanthropic. So, philanthropic word, suppose the person who does not know may think is a connected with philosophy. But the simple word which we can use, people who helps each other. It's a simple word. Okay. People, those who help each other. Right. So instead of using, okay, whether you help each other, whether you are being philanthropic, then children have to know. So therefore, I'm saying, you know, simple words and body language, smile, eye contact, gestures. See, some of us, I'm not objecting, but sometimes you look at all teachers, those who teach in the class, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Urdu, mathematics, science, social science, computer. You look at the teachers, those who are in the background of math, science, and computer. They smile less in the classroom. I do not know why. Maybe they are very scientific. I'm not objective. Don't take it otherwise. My observation, I'm saying, I may be right or wrong. Just take a look at the teachers, those are teaching mathematics, very less, class management and smiling face. No, I'm not putting everybody into bracket. I'm not at all. Then science teachers, then computer teachers. Then normally the teachers, those who teach Hindi language, are having better performance than any other languages. Then comes English. So the languages are having high contact with children. So then so body language, it has got a different atmosphere it makes, and cultural sensitivity, how far the topic what is taught and things how it is connected, and checking for understanding. We have to ask questions whether the topic whatever I have taught, whether they are understanding or not. Seeking participation. Suppose they are not telling, what we have to do, don't ask them whether I understood or not. It's a bad habit from a teacher's side. Okay, for a formality, once you ask whether they understood or not, but the best option, make them to participate in the class. Make them to participate in the class. Ask them, some questions, queries, and ask them to solve in the board, or encourage them. Suppose if they ask any questions, keep on asking. I say in my school, the best students are the students those who ask lot of questions. The best students are the students those who ask lot of questions. But in fact, we teachers may feel a little irritation with those students those who ask questions. So effective questions should take place, and at the same time summarizing what he has said. So in the day, maybe around 25, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 40 minutes I have taught. Don't teach. If the class is of 35 minutes, don't teach 35 minutes. Stop by 30 minutes. Stop by 30 minutes. And it's 5 minutes, we have to recall whatever we have taught. Maybe in the previous chapter on previous class onwards, till previous class, I have taught this things, and today I have taught this is what the outcome. Then we have to refresh. That's a thing that we need to do in the classroom. So how do you start effective communication? Some of the tips are here. Make communication as a priority. Simplify and stay on message. not the complicated and complex sentences. Simplify and stay on message. Engage your listeners or readers. Take time to respond. Take time to respond. Make sure you are understood. Develop your listening skill too. Body language is important. Maintain eye contact. So, what are things I have said here? It's all things are applicable here also. All things are applicable here also. So, we need to understand how does it work. Having good communication skills in the workplace is all about being able to convey information to people clearly, means things are understood and get done. It is about transmitting and receiving messages clearly and being able to read your audience. Suppose I am I'm unfortunate that I am not able to read my audience, but when we have offline sessions, surely we will have better interaction, better communication. All these things take place. So we need to have such kind of things, and we need to have kind of interactions among ourselves. Importance of communication skills. One thing I like to say here, that when we have an interaction in the classroom, when we have interaction in the classroom, of course we know we are seeing each other. We understand the children those are sitting in front of us. So we need to maintain that. Good verbal and written communication skills are essential in order to deliver and understand information quickly and accurately. Being able to Being able to communicate effectively is a vital life skill and should not be overlooked. Communication can be defined as the process of understanding and sharing meaning. So, simple communication can be defined as a process of understanding and sharing. Please do remember, it is of understanding and sharing. Suppose I'm sharing, and if you are not able to understand, my communication is not effective. So please understand it. Whatever I share, it should be understandable for others. See here, 7 C's for effective communication. So please suppose you want to take screenshot, or you can write and keep 7 C's. What are 7 C's for communication? One, it should be clear. First point is it should be clear. It should be concise. It should be concise. It should be concrete. It should be concrete. And the next, it should be correct. It should be coherent. It should be complete. It should be courteous. So these are the 7 C's for the best effective communication. I like to repeat, whatever I say, it should be clear. Whatever I share, it should be precise and concise. It should be concrete. It is not that beating around the bush, and should be correct. The information what I pass, it is should be correct. It should not be fake information. Please don't take from the WhatsApp University or Chat GPT. Also, we can trust on Chat GPT or Google 50 percentage. Nowadays, it was around 80 percentage. Chat GPT, even from the beginning onwards, it was. I have looked into some of the question answers. So the answers which was in Britannica, it is not in the Chat GPT and all, or the textbook what is given is quite different from Chat GPT. So Chat GPT also 50-60 percentage. Google was about the 80 percentage, but nowadays the fake contents in all social medias and some of the common sites are. And don't take any kind of information from our WhatsApp University. It will make our information incorrect. So use correct and coherent. It should be precise and coherent, and it should be complete. It's not that half meaning of it, and it should be courteous. So these are the 7 C's. So information sources. It is of Shannon's elements of communication process. So what does he say is information sources, encoder, the channel, the decoder, receiver, destination. See the picture, how it is passing it. It passing each other, and there's a connectivity. So that's called Shannon's elements of communication process. Suppose information or source pass from one place to another place, and the encoder takes place, the channel, decoder, receiver, destination, all things we can see is a process. Most important tools for communication is communication. The word communication is derived from the Latin word communicare, which means that to share. Body language, posture, and gesture are also important tools for communication, but they are secondary to language. Suppose language, for example, I wanted to call somebody, I can just call, and I'm not saying other things are important, but at a certain time, language is very important because suppose you imagine that I'm not able to speak, I cannot, I cannot speak, then there comes a limitation of language that other people, unless they're expert how to understand my action and expression, they fail to understand my communication. So for effective communication, language is necessary. And the word which has come from Latin word that is called communicare. It's not communicare, it's communicare. It's a communicare. Example, examples of effective communication, just to see here, text you 100% and different things that we see, maybe of mail, walking, schooling, grouping, or messages, calculation, different things we see. And four methods of communication: one is verbal and non-verbal, written, listening, visual. Okay. And we can also say maybe touching also we can consider it as on among them. Verbal communication is best used when the something has to be discussed in detail or written, when someone has to be completed or uh, primed. Verbal communication makes the conveying of thoughts faster and easier and is the most successful methods of communication. However, it makes just 7% of all the human communication. So the just it makes only 7% of all human communications. That is called it makes like the communication, maybe words and other things. So a complete communication in the sense, it counts everything. Maybe verbal, non-verbal, written, listening. It can be visual, it can be touch, it can be a smile, it can be a look, it can be eye contact, it can be a gesture. Anything can be. So full it comes off, including everything. Think before you speak. Okay. What are the factors that I have to be conscious about? Think before you speak. Speak with confidence. Okay, it's not that simply we speak. So remember, think before you speak with confidence, be clear and concise. It's not something beating around the bush, as I have been saying. Be aware of your non-verbal communication cues. Suppose I'm giving any non-verbal communication, whether it is applicable or not, that I need to understand. Be a good listener. In order to be a good speaker, I should have, I should be a good listener. Think about the perspective of your audience. Suppose my audience, for example, I want to teach a same topic. For example, I want to teach maybe light, a topic called light. When I'm teaching a topic light, you are teaching in sixth class. So in the sixth class, what the way you teach and the same topic light when you teach in +1, it will vary. Okay, so understand the audience, understand the children who is sitting in front of you. Vary your vocal tone, somewhere up, somewhere down, somewhere low, somewhere emotions. For example, a teacher who teaches a poem and it is a romantic poem, then the romance should come. With a sad poem, it should be a lamentation or different things. Or suppose a teacher is teaching mathematics, then what emotion will come? No emotions will come. But when we teach mathematics, eye contact and voice, it matters. Eye contact and voice, it matters. So we have to be very conscious about varying your vocal tones. How can I speak effective? Get your thinking straight. Okay. For example, when I'm teaching or when I'm speaking, my thought should not be somewhere else. Suppose my thought is somewhere else, I'll be talking, my mouth is moving, but there not be connectivity. Okay, and talk straight. What I want to convey, convey straight, not convey. I'm not having enough vocabulary. I'm not having language. I have limitation of language. I'm not able to express myself. That should not affect. Should convey straight. The most common source of confusing message is molded thinking. Say what you mean. Say exactly what you mean. Get it. Effective communication. Do not beat around the bush. I have been saying, be concise, be real, speak in images, do it with thought and care, use your eyes. So these are the main points which, suppose you are seeing, if you are really observing my content of the last few slides, it is really helpful for everybody to understand how to be in the classroom, how to have a effective communication. I don't think anybody would feel difficulty to have a good classes. So the top 10 communication skill: one, emotional intelligence; second one, cohesion and clarity; next, friend lines; next, confidence, empathy, respect, listening, open mindedness, tone of voice, I mean asking good questions. So these are the top 10 communication skills. Sometimes almost all things we see in the class, almost all things. We have emotional intelligence, cohesion and clarity, we have friendliness, we have, and confidence, we have empathy, we have respect, we have listening, open mindedness, we have tone of voice, we have, but asking good questions, I have doubt about. Okay, then you will think whatever the questions that whatever I am asking, is it not a good question? That's they are good questions. Now the all questions are not meant for everybody. That we have to understand. All questions are not meant for everybody. For example, an average child needs an average question, not little above than the average. Below average student needs an average question. An excellent student needs a good quality question which he or she should think and say. For example, any level of children, those whom you are asking, they should not say very fast the answer. Suppose you are saying, who is the father of mathematics or who is the father of geometry? Okay, it's a simple question. So children, they may answer without thinking. Okay, Euclid is the father of geometry. They might simply they say. So, but there are some questions. For example, why triangle is called as triangle, right? Or why circle is not having no sides? Some kind of indirect questions you ask that children should think and say as per their level. So ask good questions. So here, so some of the communication things we are mentioning, that is of informed and proactive, patience, adoption, education, or here you can see motivation, knowledge, skill. And when we come to down, improved communication has two sides, which it touches education, that is healthcare system, physician with the communication excellence, and the last one we see improved clinical outcome. So these are patients communication skill. Why communication is important? Communication helps people to express their ideas, feelings, and it at the same time helps us to understand emotion and the thoughts of others. As we result, we will improve, we will develop affection or hatred towards other people, and positive or negative relationship will be created. So as I said in the beginning, first I said the if communication can break or build a relation, can break also, can build a relation also. Why communication is important? As Buddhism, so some slogan it says that the meaning. It says, have you, sorry, have you to develop vocabulary? In order to develop vocabulary that is very, very resourceful, watch your vocabulary. The easiest way to improve the quality of thoughts, which will manifest as the quality and the standard of life. The easiest way to do is think about your vocabulary, improve your vocabulary, start using language that makes you feel so resourceful. So, for example, I am using a word situation. Another time I have used circumstances. Please give me a cup of tea. I am using kindly give me a cup of tea. Show your kindness. Will you be kind enough to me? So, suppose if I'm using some different kinds of vocabulary, that's called, reading books. Suppose I'm having constant reading of books, or I can get some kind of different words instead of the same. That makes our, communication very powerful. So, as we are going to conclude this session, I like to say, as we are having effective communication, dear teachers who are listening to the session, please, for 2 minutes. Effective communication is not about how much I deliver. Effective communication about how much result I get back. Effective communication is not how much difficult words I use. Effective communication is that how much simple words I use. Effective communication is not that using similar words again and again. Effective communication is that how do I use different words in different same situations. Effective communication is that how it is not that I am standing in a place and I am looking at everybody. Effective communication is that how far I am having a good eye contact, how far I am making use of my body gesture, how far my voice is reachable to others, how far I am able to understand and read others' mind. Effective communication is not that the ideas, whatever I shared, it's going to my mind, to others' mind. Effective communication is that however I am reaching my points to the heart. So that's what, dear teachers, that's what I was willing to convey to this effective communication uh, session today. So as we are concluding the session, so I'd like to thank Aryavarta Sahodaya for giving me a chance to share my views on effective communication. Our all patrons, especially founder Dr. Sibi Singh sir, President Radhika ma'am, Symbol ma'am, or Himanshu sir, all office executives, and everybody, thank you very much for giving me a chance. And of course, to all teachers, those who have been listening to me since last around one hour about this effective communication. It's not only listening to this from tomorrow onwards, from Wednesday tomorrow, when we are going to the class, our classes should be different. The children should feel there's something different to place. It may be voice variation, content preparation, it may be the approach we have, patience we have, asking questions, clearing the students' questions, encouraging students to ask questions. It should not be monotonous and simple way of method. So once again, I wish all the best to you and thank you. Thank you very much for giving me a chance and thank you. If suppose anybody has a query or something, please put in the chat box or you can ask, you can unmute and you can ask. No, cannot unmute, I think, but you can, put in the chat box any kind of queries, we can share each other. Thank you.
Good evening, Shibu sir. Simple ma'am here.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Oh. Thank you so much.
It's mute, sir, it's mute.
It was again a very nice session. I request the participants to ask their questions if they have any queries in their mind. Okay. So thank you so much, Shibu sir. It
Thank you,
was
sir.
again an excellent session. And this is very pertinently required for today's classes. The attendance links have already been shared in the chat box, requesting the participants to kindly complete their attendance on time. Attendance link is available, I suppose. Okay. So thank you, Shivu sir. Now you can leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all the participants.